Saudi Arabia by Holly Kennedy, Monica Kennedy, and Carolyn Depew. Location of Saudi Arabia. It's on the continent of Asia, bordering countries Kuwait, Israel, Iraq, Yemen, Qatar, Oman, United Arab Emirates, and Jordan. The main languages and the history of why it's spoken in Saudi Arabia. Arabic is the official language due to the Muslim official religious beliefs. 85 to 90% are Muslim, 10 to 15% are Shia, if I pronounce that right, and the rest are Eastern Orthodox, Roman Catholic, Jewish, Buddhist. Culture of the language defined, strictly speaking, no photographs. People do take photographs, but the government doesn't allow that. If you get sick, you have to go to an urgent care or hospital. If you're a man, you're going to be seen by a man. If you're a woman, you're going to be seen by a woman, unless it's a true life or death emergency situation. But due to the strict religious faith, you won't get to be seen by your own gender. There's absolutely no public drinking, so nightlife in Saudi Arabia is very different than here in the U.S. The regional differences in the language, short vowels are not written out in Arabic. Instead, they are represented as symbols called faithas. Related cultural norms with language and communication. Men shake hands. In a business setting, it's appropriate for women to wear conservative suits in a form of a dark color, trousers or skirts that fall below the knees. Very important if you travel there that you dress appropriately. Due to the Muslim faith, dress is very important. Even reach out to your business that you're going to be meeting with and ask them if you're not sure what you're going to be wearing. Definitely nothing see-through, no mini skirts. Men don't wear shorts, nothing like that. Dark colors. Here's the Arabic alphabet and the numbers. As you can see, there's a lot of swirls to their letters. I especially like the S. Isn't that fancy? Are you able to say hello, good morning, good afternoon, goodbye, thank you? I'm going to try to say thank you. I hope I get it right. Shukran. Sorry. Nice to meet you. Have a nice day. And have a nice day is Atama Yama Tabai. Sorry if I screwed that up. I tried really hard to listen on the internet. Main languages, verbal and nonverbal. Using the right hand when it comes to greeting and giving and receiving items. Left hand is considered dirty. Give and receive a business card with the right clean hand. Cleanliness over there, because of the religious beliefs, they always wash before they go into their mosque to pray. They're very clean when they go in there they take off their shoes. Never ever partake in drinking alcohol unless you know that they want to do that. Hofstadter's Value Index. In masculinity, they rate it 60. In America, rate it 62. It's a driven society by competition. The power distance in Saudi Arabia is 95. In America, it's 40. And then individualism in Saudi Arabia ranks 25. In America, ranks 91. There was a huge difference on that one. Saudi people don't want to be different. They're from a collective society. They get very anxious if they're being considered different. Assumptions and presentatives people of Saudi Arabia have on the U.S. Islam of the forefathers and the rejection of the Western institutions of values because of the Muslim faith. They don't like Westerners. America, especially the younger Saudi Arabians, believe the United States come over, destroy things, and then they leave. So they just see the United States as killing machines, and then they just leave. You know, they destroy the buildings and they leave. So the young people really struggle with the sense of their religious beliefs versus the fighting. How difficult would it be for a person who speaks only English to travel to Saudi Arabia? Very difficult. The region is very rough over there. Women don't drive alone. All government and commercial businesses shut down 6 times a day for prayer. Every day those prayer times change depending on the movement of the sun. The religious beliefs, everything is centered around their faith, their dress, the way they walk down the street. Men and women don't come close to each other. If you are trying to depend on your app for your smartphone to translate for you, the government blocks certain apps. They control all internet activities, so you might not have access to your app. Public transportation, very little English in the public transportation, and if you do have a taxi that comes to your hotel, you really have to have the hotel set it up because the taxis are very undependable. You certainly don't want to be traveling anywhere alone if you're a woman. It's just too rough of a region. Also, if you're traveling during Ramadan, Saudi Arabia is home to Mecca. And if you didn't at least speak a little Muslim, it would be very, very difficult. The city would be very crowded. You wouldn't have much chance of getting around, especially when the restaurants and stuff shut down for those 6 times a day. It'd be very hard for you to keep track of what was going on. So if you're going to travel, learn a little bit. Here's the royal princess, Rima, if I pronounced her name right. She's a single mom. She's leading the way for more integration of women in the workforce. Right now, there's 13% of Saudi women that work in the workforce. She's also leading the way that women shouldn't have to cover up their faces. Another important aspect to the language is the culture emphasizes a place on tone, voice, silence, facial, body language. Arabic is written from right to left. I did try to attempt to learn to write thank you. It was very difficult for me to retrain my brain to go from right to left. Not that I couldn't do it with some practice. And then here I just put in this picture because I know here in America a lot of the young women feel it's wrong that the Saudi women have to cover up their faces, but they really see it as they're saving their faces for their husband to see their beauty. And again, the region is rough, so if they go out without an escort and something happens to them, they're the ones that are the criminal. And then I'll just tell you a personal story about a few months ago. We were at the Las Vegas airport, and I had the pleasure of sitting close to a Saudi woman, and I got to see her black gown and her facial headdress up close. And my opinion was it was very thick. I could see her eyes through it, but it seemed like it was a very thick silk, but it was woven very tightly. What really surprised me was her husband walked a few steps in front of her and then was yelling at her because she wasn't walking fast enough, but she was lugging 4 suitcases, and she was such a tiny, petite woman. And one of these suitcases, I am not kidding you not, was at least as tall as she was tall. And they looked like they were all very heavy. And when she got to the gate, she just collapsed in the chair. And he was up at the ticket booth by that point. And he was so angry with her. He was screaming at her so bad in his language that security came over and calmed him down. But every time she responded, she didn't respond very much, but when she responded, I was very impressed how cool and calm her voice was. The gentleman was scaring me just by his tone, and he was shaking his fist and shaking his hands, and at one point he was even stomping his sandals. To me, he seemed like he was very angry at her. And of course, no one really knew why, other than I could make out that he wanted her to be closer to him. But when the plane boarded, she was the one that had to carry all 4 suitcases on board, and then of course they wouldn't let her do it. They had to be checked. And he went ahead and got on the plane. So I was just very impressed at how she stayed so cool and calm. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Hopefully I didn't screw up too much on pronouncing the words. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.